Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be doing my August reading wrap-up as well as my September TBR. We're going to do it in the order that I read them. So first up is Fated Throne, which I believe is the 6th book in the Zodiac Academy series. I'm not going to talk too much about it because any kind of thing I can say about it will be a spoiler for the whole series. So I'm going to keep it nice and simple. It was good. I feel like every book that is like I read in the Zodiac Academy series, the writing gets significantly better, which, like, it's practice, you know, practice makes perfect. Like, I feel like the authors of the Zodiac Academy series, they're good storytellers and not necessarily good writers, but both skills are something that can be worked on, and I like where they're going with the story. It's a little bit long. Am I emotionally tired of everything happening over and over again? Oh, we got a visit from my cat. Shoo, go away. Oh my god. But anyway, they go through so much, and it's low-key traumatic. It's a traumatic series to read, but I'm loving it. And then up next, it's Ministry for the Future. I DNF'd this one. I tried really hard to read it, but it was so hard. Like, it felt like I was reading a series of essays and not a novel, and I am not an essay reader. That's not really my thing. So that one was a DNF. And I forgot to say for Fated Throne, I'm pretty sure I gave that book 4 stars. Yeah, but Ministry of the Future I did not read because I didn't finish reading it, and it wasn't necessarily because it was bad, it was just not for me, so I had to move on. After that, I read Red Queen. Red Queen was interesting. Because like a lot of people have been talking about Red Queen because they've been talking about Powerless, right? And I haven't read Powerless. I'm not going to read Powerless. I already know I'm not going to like it just because I know my reading taste. However, I was curious to read the book that everyone's saying Powerless is copying. And, like, I can't say whether or not the plagiarism thing is real because I feel like that word is thrown around a little bit too much for what is happening. But like I said, I didn't read Powerless, so I can't say for sure. But I can tell you, Red Queen, while I enjoyed it, it wasn't anything like particularly special in my opinion. I feel like it just hits the same marks that lots of other books do. However, because of the time it was published, it could technically be like part of the inspiration for the blueprint. So I didn't rate it too harshly because of that. And then there were some things with like the plot twist were really easy to see. Like I had guessed it right from the beginning, the big plot twist at the end. So that one wasn't too hard either. But I gave it 3 stars. Like, I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. I thought it was a decent book. And it's a decent YA novel, especially for people just getting into fantasy. So there's that. And then for my book club book for the month, my friend Adia and I read Matched, which, if you guys don't know, is like it came from the wave of like 2012 like dystopian novels, maybe 2010, 2012, around that range. I had read all 3 books when I was in middle school, and I remember liking the first book and not liking the other 2. And I still liked the first one more or less. Like, it definitely gets hard, I think, the further the book goes on, because first off, this writing style slowly gets annoying. And that was the problem I even had it in middle school, is by the 2nd and 3rd books, I was kind of sick of it. I was kind of sick of the main character, and I was just so annoyed. But on the positive, though, I feel like Matched as a dystopian does something which a lot of dystopians don't do, and the point of view character she wrote from was someone that was benefiting from the system, right? Someone that had only ever seen the good of the system. And it was this matching ceremony, which is the point of the whole book, right? And a mistake that is made that makes her start seeing that the system isn't perfect and start seeing the cracks in it, and that's when you start seeing how it is kind of dystopian. Like, it's like one of those things, like, is it harmful to tell a bird it's in a gilded cage, you know? If the bird is happy and, like, doesn't know that it's in a gilded cage, you know? So there was that. Anyway, I gave it 3 stars, I believe, because it did give extra points for being unique. It did lose some points for having an annoying main character. Like, sorry, not sorry. And then the Poppy Fields, the next book. I really enjoyed the Poppy Fields. It was completely different than what I was expecting going into it. I thought it was gonna be almost like a weird kind of like cult horror thriller kind of thing with like science experiments kind of thing. But it ended up not being about that. It ended up being about grief and the different way people experience grief and the way it changes people. And even though like some of the point of view characters kind of confused me at first, the way it did kind of tie into itself all at the end was actually kind of beautiful. So if you need a story about grief, I highly recommend it. I gave it 4 stars. And then after that, I did Volatile Memory, which came out recently. I think it came out in July. And it's kind of a short, I don't know if it counts as a novella, because I think you have to be under a certain amount of pages to be considered a novella, and I think it might be just over, but it's book 1 of a duology where this woman, she finds a mask that, it's all, in this universe there's a bunch of AI masks, and they all are shaped like different animals and stuff like that, and it's a sci-fi book. I don't know if I said that. It's a sci-fi book. And so she finds this mask, and usually what she does is she's a scavenger, so she scavenges stuff and then resells it kind of thing, or does hunts for people or whatever. But she comes across this mask with a consciousness inside of it, and she really ends up connecting with that consciousness, and they team up together to go find the ex-husband of the consciousness in the mask. It's a really interesting story. It kind of focused on how capitalism, if we keep going down this path, is just gonna make our lives so much worse. Everyone wears these AI masks, and you get ad pop-ups for oh my god. And then on top of that, the main female character, there is 2 main female characters if you count the mask, because technically it's told from the point of view of the mask, which is really interesting. But the scavenger woman, she is a trans woman, so she also has had to deal with that and all the prejudice that has caused. And on top of that, the consciousness in the mask is actually a queer woman as well that was forced into this marriage. She was sold to this man, which is why she married him. Heavy stuff, but highly recommend. I think I also gave it 4 stars. It was good. And then finally, my final read of the month, not very happy with it. It's probably the worst read of the month for sure. And it was Blood of Hercules. Now, I didn't have very high hopes going into it, because I knew what kind of story I was getting into, right? That it was going to be a comedy, that it was going to be super unserious. I was not expecting the writing to be so unbelievably bad. I really didn't vibe with it. I really did not vibe with it. And the thing is the first half, I was entertained, right? I wasn't necessarily super eager to know what happened, but I also wasn't putting it down. So there was that, But as the book got on, there was just some things that slowly started to drive me insane. And I didn't like the love interests. I didn't even realize that they were supposed to be the love interests for a while, and by the time it's revealed, it's weird. It's weird. Honestly, they do a lot of sexually harassing and assaulting the main female character, and the main female character, I did not really vibe with her that much either. I did not think she was funny. I did not think the writing overall was funny. It had funny moments, but as a whole, there was lots of moments where it was supposed to be funny, and I just didn't feel it. But that's a personal thing, right? Comedy is very subjective, just like reading is subjective. So, maybe it's just not my sense of humor. But I started to root for the main character because I despise the love interest so much. I was I don't care how much I disliked her. She does not deserve to be with those 2 assholes. So yeah, that is the end of my reading wrap-up portion. I gave Blood of Hercules 2 stars, and one of those stars is because the audiobook narrator put her full soul into that audiobook narration, so I had to give her points. That being said, her narration of the male characters' voices may be one of the reasons I was so put out, because they sounded like posh British butlers. But beside the point, let's get into the my September TBR. We are gonna start out with the first two books I know for a fact are on my TBR. The first one is Daughter of the Moon Goddess. This one is for sure on my TBR because I'm literally in the process of reading it. I really wanted to finish it by the end of August, and it just didn't happen. My life has been too busy. I've been doing other things besides picking up this book and reading, so there's that. But I do believe I can finish it in September. I think I have plenty of time, and I'm almost halfway through it. So I just need to lock in, and I need to spend a little bit more time reading and a little less time like scrolling through TikTok, etc., etc. But I have been enjoying it. You know, like the fact that I'm not picking it up super often isn't necessarily a critique on this book. It's just the space I've been in. So yeah, I only read so many books last month because a lot of those were audiobooks. Anyway, I am going to spin the wheel for a lot of the other reads for this month. There are going to be a few that aren't going to be counted in this. One of them is Legend. I forgot the author's name, but there'll be a picture here. And this is going to be another book club book I'm doing with my friend Adia. And then I did spin the wheel earlier this month when I thought I was going to finish Daughter of the Moon Goddess by the end of this month. Or by the end of, August. It's now September. And I got from the wheel The Search Party. So, this is actually a book my grandparents got for me, so I don't actually know that much about it, except I think it's supposed to be a thriller. So, yeah, but like, you know what, it fits the vibes, I feel like, since it's gonna be fall. So I'm for sure reading those two, and I'll probably add the next Zodiac Academy book to this list as well, because I'm probably gonna be reading that at some point with my friend Rachel. Now, those are probably gonna be most of the books I read in July that are not from the library, because I get mostly audiobooks from the library because I listen to them while I'm at work, which is why there were so many on my list last month. And so we'll see. I don't know which one of those are going to be next because I don't know what order they're going to come in, right? But I am going to spin the wheel twice for two other possible physical copy books that I am going to read after Search Party, right? And so I've got my wheel right here. You're not gonna be able to see it very well, but don't worry, I'll put on screen, or I'll say what book it chose, and then I'll go grab the books and I'll show you. But let's see. The first book that we are going to put from the wheel Welcome to the Hondong Bookshop. And then let's see what we're gonna get for the other book, and then I'll go grab those two and show you them. I'm actually so excited to read the Bookshop one. I'm so glad it picked that one. And then Howl's Moving Castle! Oh, we're going cozy for the end of August. Love it. Let me go grab those. So here's technically pick number 4, I guess. Welcome to the Honnam Bookshop. And then Howl's Moving Castle. I believe this one is about a businesswoman that quits, or either gets fired or quits from her corporate job and ends up opening up a bookshop in Korea. And then Howl's Moving Castle. Come on, everyone knows about Howl's Moving Castle. I have only watched the Studio Ghibli movie, never read the book. So this will be fun. And no matter what happens with my reading month, whether or not I get through all of these, those books are for sure going to be ending up, moving over into October if need be. But hopefully I can finish these and my book club books as well. So, yeah. And that's going to be it. Thanks for watching this video. I am excited to see what August is going to have in store. There's a lot of moving parts going on in my life, but they're all for the betterment of myself. I might make a video talking about it because I'm doing that, there's been a trend going on where people are doing a personal curriculum. I'm doing that for myself too. So if anyone is interested, leave it down in the comments and I'll make a video about my personal curriculum too. But for now, we'll leave it at this reading wrap up and August TBR video. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys very much. Goodbye.